we're running all these things from this payment protocol. It's our top priority. And then we update myusic.xyz to it. And then we're going to update the rest of it to it. So the next step after that is the web3journey.org, lurkey.app, and then we get into our blockchain, our own token. The governance token for it is Ticker South, the token of the South. For the blockchain of the South, the government's token for that. We'll just be using Base Ethereum. This all launches on Base, and then once we have blockchain in the South up and running, the native token for that is the South Ethereum. That's going to launch on that. So
for those of you joining us, my name is Michael Milton, one of the founding partners of software called the Salt Surge. And what we've given folks the ability to do is we're enabling the global SME, the small medium enterprises. We're focusing on the 99% out there. We're trying to make it in this world, and we've designed a software and been implementing this into several verticals over the last 6 months. But what it gives folks the ability to do is accept crypto at the point of sale. And it's not just, peer-to-peer transactions. We're actually converting cryptocurrencies via the fiat, rails. We're, accepting credit and debit and using various on-ramps to bridge that gap. And it allows the merchants to, the benefit to the merchant for using a system like this is instant reconciliation. They get instant access to their funds. They have no chargebacks. And the fees, are very minimal compared to the, to the standard, the current system that's in place. They're getting eaten alive. So
before you continue, Michael, this is Mayor Del Mar in California, is Michael. So y'all probably, I've known him for many years on X with a lot of my clients have worked with him, and extremely experienced in blockchain technology. And so on the cutting edge of X402, which was open sourced from Coinbase, and this is all running on the Base chain blockchain, the Fed chain as we call it. But that's because there's zero transaction fees. Like if you have $420.69, 69 cents on your bank account, or on your credit card, you get exactly that same amount converted USDC on Base chain through Coinbase, and you can send that to your wallet. They pay the GWEI, the gas fees, the GWEI. There's no transaction fees, no conversion fees, no any fees. And that came out last year. We've made it more secure with some of our forks of the code. And then what we have in addition to that is what Michael's done is he's taken Google's UCP, which is just their protocol to allow agents to make those payments. And then we can make micro payments. You make like a millionth of a penny. Since there's no fees, you can do micro payments, amazingly. So his product is running on crypto rails, but as a physical device, which you'll get into, to accept the credit cards and everything. It's for merchants, but we also have an app for consumers or for people wanting to pay, like at this coffee shop or wherever. As he rolls this out, and it's already in production. It's working. It's exciting to be a part of. So if you are joining the meeting, just mute yourself. I know there's like however many people just hopped in. Just keep yourself on mute. I'll put myself back on mute. He's got a short time frame because he's got a call with the manufacturers in Hong Kong on the most recent shipment, and then we're doing a shipment of 100 units initially. We'll get into that after Michael drops off. So go ahead.
Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah, so as Drew said, there's minimal to no fees because there is crypto, there is fees, but that's all paid for by the consumers. So the merchant, we're really trying to empower the merchant itself. And, right now they're getting eaten alive. Typically the typical credit card and debit card swipe, there is a 30 to 50 cent fee on those, what we've seen. And they can be higher depending upon the vertical itself. If it's a high risk vertical, I know that some of those processing fees are much higher than the standard, like 2.9% on a credit card. But what we've done is wiped all that away. The consumer actually will pay the fees, and on debit, it's very minimal. Credit, there is a small fee for doing the conversion. But it's, again, minimal, and you're going to put money back into the merchant's pocket. So how we make our money, the traditional 2.9% to like up to 5 is eaten. That's, being eaten by the merchants currently. And it usually takes, anywhere from, T1 to, it can take up to 10 days sometimes for settlements to happen. And as I mentioned before, the beauty of what we have here is instant settlements. So the merchant gets instant access to their money 24/7, 365 without any middlemen. There's no, we were just a payment aggregator. So all the payments are handled through smart contracts and split versioning. So we never actually hold customer funds. If you're at XYZ merchant and you give the merchant $100, they're getting $100 right away. We get our 50 cents. And it happens all instantly because it's on base. The transactions per second is, tens of thousands. I think it's 10,000 transactions per second. So we're able to handle the infrastructure, and we're ready for the digital economy. And the X402 and UCP that is coming down like Broadway pretty heavily. But it's, it's giving the ability for the merchants just to kind of move faster. And what we've found is just selling on fees. I mean, if you're doing $1 million a year in volume, the average merchant or the average small medium enterprise does about $500,000 a year. And if you take 3% of that, 3 to 5%, and put that back into the merchant's pocket, that's on their bottom line. That's the money they need to feed their families and such, and take care of their employees or whatever they want to use that extra money for. We're able to put that back in their pockets and save them, on that bottom line. And kind of like hitting on the the comparison, like we compare ourselves to Square and Stripe. We're more of the Square because we have we have devices as well as the QR code. But if we were just to do a quick comparison on how we stack up, on the payment processor of Stripe, I mean, we are about 70% less than Stripe's current rails. Our basis points.
And Stripe doesn't accept cryptocurrency. Like we have Stripe on our website and X402 because Stripe it only accepts credit cards online, and X402. So like when we're giving message like an X402, like the 404 is a server error. All the 400 errors are a server error that came out in 95 with the browser. The 404 is page not found. Like you have a bad URL at this domain that's resolved from DNS. The 402 was created. There's also a teacup one that's hilarious. That's my favorite server error. If somebody asks for a coffee, you just return an error page saying I'm a teacup. And then that one's the best. But the 402 was put in there in 95 of payment and not authorized to view this content because you didn't make payment. And it took us 30 years to create the Internet of Money to make the 402 error useful for websites and APIs. And then that came out last year by Coinbase in the summer. And that's why I took off and just worked on that code for so long. And then the Google came out with the UCP, which allows you to get more details on the 402 of what you're actually paying for on the back end. So then AI agents, if you ask like, GPT, Gemini 3 or Grok, if you're asking something, you can, that agent can go.
UCP, the UCP is like the SEO, and the X402 is the payment. if you can put it like that for people that don't quite grasp it. That's the universal commerce protocol by Google is considered like the detail, it allows the agents to find the X402 protocol on the internet. They work in tandem with one another.
Oh, absolutely. And Coinbase on base chain alone, it also works on Salami and all other like layers, mainnet of Ethereum and others. Everything but Google, everything that's programmable, X402 works on. So Hedera is amazing for it, and Cardano for the nerds. But what's cool with this is you now have a one application that on your website or your API that can do both. And Michael's team, which is some of the best developers in the space, has the physical thing for your store, your restaurant, your club, like some of his clients are dispensaries already that have this out in the wild. So anything that you would want to do, receive crypto payments, credit cards, the credit card converts to crypto on stable coins, and then you get it that way. So we don't have to go through the comparisons. I know we're eating up time, Michael. So go ahead and just hop on through.
I mean, as far as to touch on what you're saying, Drew, like it's Google Pay and Google Pay, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Visa, MasterCard, Amex, crypto. We even take cash. All forms of payments are good for this. It's you're ready, and we're ready for the digital economy. That what's coming down. The 2026 will be the year that we really see agentic payments, hitting the scene. So, but yeah, I do have to jump here in a second. Do you have any questions or anything you want me to touch on before I leave?
I think Hogan, Chris Hogan's our CEO. I think he had a couple. I think he's one of the people here.
Yeah, go ahead. I can stop sharing my screen really quick.
Sure. No, I really appreciate you taking the time to walk through this. And you really hit on it. I was going to ask you where you saw agentic payments going in 2026. And you hit on that. But can you expound on it, or do you think more things are coming to push people out of their comfort zone?
I really think that we're going to see, it's going to start with enterprise grade over the small, medium enterprises. But I really think the total addressable market for digital payments this year alone is upwards of $3.5 trillion. So this is the year for it. And that's just predictions, but it's because of how fast we're moving. It's incredible. We're moving at light speed right now, faster than we've ever moved because of all of the tools at our disposal, being how good these AI agents have gotten in the last 6 months. Even it's night and day from what it was at the end of 2024 when I was using I've watched the progression of this, and these models are just getting crazier and crazier. And then it'll be with the people trusting the agents to go, give them a wallet and hook it up, let them go spend on their behalf. But I really think it'll start with the enterprise, your bigger companies, and that's going to be, I hate Palantir. We really focus on the Palantir ontology but for the Main Street ontology versus the Wall Street ontology. You will. But Palantir is going to be the big driving force of that with NVIDIA. And that's how we're going to see it come. That's my true belief of why it's going to explode so fast, is those two companies coming together. And so that's.
I don't like Peter Thiel. No,
I don't either.
I hate Larry Ellison even more. I don't trust any of these big tech. But still, if you wouldn't mind, just briefly touches our CTO, Chief Technology Officer, runs all of our tech for the Swamp side and blockchain in the South. Just tell real briefly how easy it is to switch from Stripe to this surge from Michael.
Oh yeah, yeah. Swapping over to that's no issue at all. I mean, I've been doing this stuff long enough to know that we can make that pitch to anybody, and we can do it for any one of our sites like that. So that's absolutely no issue.
Yeah, we have an API. I don't know if you looked at the developer docs, Steel.
I did.
But yeah, it's hard. You can embed all the buttons, and then you can also scale on it as well. So you want to build
and
something.
Then also the swapping out for a location from Square, the physical device or whatever. payment thing they're using to this new one is just picking up the piece of equipment they currently have and putting this piece of equipment there. I mean,
Yep.
it's that straightforward. And then they just put their bank account. It converts it to USDC, but then it sends it to their bank account right away.
You can,
with it
you
as
can
well.
off-ramp, you can off-ramp just as easy as the on-ramp. It's that simple. Like it's for the merchant, it's a not so much of a learning curve. The consumer has no idea. The consumer is just paying a standard payment, scan the QR code, finish it, you finish the process right here on your phone. It's the most secure way to finish the transaction, but they just click the button. It's a button click, like they do when you're at the grocery store and it's same process, just a little different. It's just finishing it on their phone versus pulling out their card. But if they have Apple Pay, just tap to pay, good to go. Like just click the buttons and pushes you through, or Google Pay or Samsung Pay. So.
And then before you leave, Michael, we're doing the order of 100.
Yeah.
Hogan approved it. So touch on the pricing. You're manufacturing these in Hong Kong.
Yep.
I know your guys coming in to show in a little bit to show the devices themselves and talk about the components within the devices. But as far as pricing and that type of stuff goes, and the white label application that we'll have.
It'll be branded. It'll be branded to Swamp Pay. So as soon when it comes up, you'll be preloaded. So the actual device, instead of saying Basalt Surge, it would say Swamp Pay on it when they fire the bad boy up. So it'll be white labeled to your specific container. Your branded container. It's not going to say Surge on it anymore.
Yeah, perfect. And Steele's already created our website for it. Hogan, 2 more questions before you go.
Let's talk price.
Yeah, I mean it's the pricing of it. It's on our partner page. Let me pull my screen back up one more time.
Michael, I don't want what's on the partner page, brother. I want what's in your heart. Come on now.
Oh well, it's public. We have it on a public page. If you want to white label it, it's $20,995. I know how much it is. I'm just going to show you. But it's that way you can actually like read along with me. But yeah, so to do the branded container and get it on the devices, it would help if I actually put the right endpoint in. Give me one sec. But yeah, so to do the container with the mobile app out the door, like the total signing is $23,190, and that's due at signing, and then that will get you, do the brand. We fully. We're hosting the thing for you. So any tech issues, anything that happens, any updates, it's all on us. But we already have branded partners. So we've already done this. We already have this in the wild. It's already being sold by other folks under their brand. So we had our first. We were working with the independent sales organization actually out of LA. So he has 4,000 merchants under him, on his own, and he's phasing away from his current. He's a middleman of payments, but he's phasing out of his current providers and then going full bore with us because this is a better solution for him, and he sees the advantages of obviously he already paid for it, but he's got devices as well coming to him. So that's one of the orders that I have right now coming in is for the gentleman out of Los Angeles. But there is a monthly fee for it. If you can reach volume thresholds, we wipe out that monthly fee. So the gentleman we're working with, he does upwards of close to $1 billion a year in annual sales volume. So he anticipates pretty quickly he's not going to be paying his monthly.
And Hogan, we've already done this prior to the process. We made executive decision before you hopped on yesterday. I couldn't get in touch with you. And then as far as the equipment goes, the first 100, I think it was 24,000 for that.
Yeah, like with the tax and everything to your door, wherever you want. If it's Florida, wherever you're shipping it to, it's like 24,750 is about, and that includes shipping and everything, is about the that was tax based upon Florida state tax. So I don't know if they're going to like Alabama or whatever, so that might change depending upon. We just incorporated the Florida state tax for it.
We'll pay some of the shipping. We're essentially hoping we got a concept where they're going to do drop shipping or send a big load to a traditional drop shipper, and then when each of our Swamp Pay orders come through on our website, that'll just directly send it to them to whatever address they want to send it to their store, restaurant, or club, nightclub, or whatever they want. They'll just receive that device. And our drop shipper or Michael, we order from stickermule.com, the black sticker with our logo and branding and a QR code to the NFT that corresponds with that physical device that has the smart contract and everything for the splitter, and everything's transparent and open source for everything. So that just sends it to that restaurant, to that local business. They're only paying 0.5% on credit cards. So like this coffee shop here that I'm at, I paid for coffee earlier and they gave me, I think, a 10-20% discount because I paid with cash. Same thing here with this. The businesses can lower prices or increase the price of the product. And then we can also do an adjustable fee on top. Like, so we can still keep it 3.5% and then send that business 3% in crypto, let them take out that what they're used to taking out from Square or whatever, take that out directly to their bank account, and then we automate the crypto side of that payment. And we're getting to that later in the conversation. But yeah, Michael, go ahead. Closing thoughts.
Yeah, you guys have, just what Drew was saying, to touch on that is, we charge 50 basis points for the platform. That would never go away. But you as a partner can charge 300 basis points if you would like. You can charge 6 times the amount. If you wanted to really come in and undercut everybody, you can charge 150. And you can do this per merchant. So if you have certain high risk ventures that you're working with, say it be cannabis or a semaglutide, versus the coffee shop down the street that maybe you charge them a little less. So it's all done through split contracts. So each merchant gets their own split version, and you determine how much you want to charge that merchant. So you have full flexibility on what you're earning in perpetuity off of there every time a transaction happens. So yeah, pretty powerful.
Well, Michael, appreciate your time. I know you kind of did the calls, and you got.
Yep, I gotta
also later down the road we'll be having our custom device built, but that's not until the summer. It's going to be our specification of the device. Your guys coming in here in a minute to show the device off. But yeah, thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'll look forward to chatting with you. Have any questions, Drew? You got my number. Just give me a shout. And Eric will be joining you guys here shortly. So, alrighty, take care. Thank you so much.
Good talking, man.
All right, Steele, can you share your screen and show the SwampPay draft site that we put together?
Sure.
So we did it with the AHA stack, which is the Alpine JS from Caleb Porzio, who actually used to work for me for like 1.5 years. He runs Laravel Livewire, works for Laravel, which is the backend stack that we use for our data. And so this is done in Alpine JS with HTMX for the data transfer, so say your traditional JSON. We all hate JSON and JavaScript, so it's all minimal. It's server-side rendered website with Astro, which gives us, for each of our merchants, we can roll out a website and custom branding on the device and do this whole thing, and it reloads snappy fast. And it's all free web hosting, paid for by Bill Gates, who owns Bill. We hate him, but he bought GitHub. So until we create Git Free, we're using his free website hosting. So go ahead, if you don't mind, still walk through the site and some of the stuff that we're working on, and let Hogan throw you a couple questions.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm showing the site off right now. I got the theme down here. If you guys have any notes on anything you guys want, thrown in here, added, taken away, that kind of stuff. I gave us a little bit of unique nav so that we don't have a bar at the top the entire time. Each of the pages is, I mean, mostly fleshed out. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to go after here, if we're going to be, putting out our own API like this, or if we're just going to try to get people in at the market floor. But I mean, this is,
Yeah, so this website is just information, details about it for the merchants. Swamp Pay, we're not going to have the control of, we're not going to put the app and payment stuff on the website because of security concerns. So they'll have an app on their phone where they can preload, they can run their own credit card, put stablecoin on the app and the Swamp Silver Dollar that we're launching on the app, and then they can make the payments directly from the app with a discount, or they can send crypto from another exchange or another wallet to the app. It's a wallet, it's a security wallet, and then or they can just walk into the store, run a card, and get rewards in the Swamp Pay app. We can white label the website and the app for any of the, like if we lined a deal with Darden, they can have a Longhorn one, a Yours Chris one, or whatever. Like Rich Boy is hopping on in a little bit. He's running marketing, so there'll be a Nelly version with a website and an app. And the website's more like, you interested in this, put in your email, we'll send you a PDF with all the details and show you how to order your own device. And if you want to white label the Swamp Pay, which is a layer on top of what they have, if you want to white label our app for your custom your coffee shop, we're not going to pay 20. We're not going to make a coffee shop pay 20,000. We're just going to include a pro bono for a percentage of their coffee shop revenue. So we get paid on the back end a higher percentage of the transaction volume. So we're a layer on top of what Michael just presented. But yeah, go ahead and still take over, and then Hogan's got a couple questions for you.
sure. Yeah, I mean, this is the main meat of it is, the homepage and the field kit page. Just showing off a bunch of different things about it, which is all placeholder information we are going to swap out, I'm sure. And then if you go over to request a field kit, that's where it's showing off the terminal that we'd be putting into people's stores there and the info about it and all that, ordering it. So, I mean, this is what I whipped up here. If you have any notes or any ideas or anything like that, let me know.
Good work. Good work. No, I don't have any
Appreciate
immediately. It looks really good.
Thank you.
I really like the layout. I'm digging the green. That color is popping, which it should. And I really, really like that. So great job.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And still made this website in less than an hour because we have a custom backend that's already been built in the LAMP stack, which is Linux from Linus Torvald, Arch, by the way, MySQL from Stupid Oracle, Larry Ellison, but we got the open source version, and then PHP using the Laravel framework with Reverb to the AHA stack with HTMX with Laravel Echo, which is the live. It's a WebSocket connection. For when we do that, it also does the WebSocket connection for it all to the directly into the apps that we'll have for each one of these merchants. And when we roll out our app, they're going to white label one for us for this initial run. This first 100 units, and then we'll switch all those 100 units over to our app, integrating with their SDK for the payments and for everything. Running the credit cards and doing all that, or for accepting cash, accepting crypto, all that will be run from their SDK, which is kind of like an API. It's a wrapper on the API, and then ours will be done dual thread by Lynx, Lynx, which is what TikTok just released like a month and a half ago. That's why, like, if you pull up TikTok on your phone, I did this with a kid the other day. I launched a React app. I launched, I put YouTube, and he launched TikTok on the same thing. I have a much more expensive phone. He had an old iPhone and an older Android. The other guy had, because it's dual thread server side rendered, just like our AHA stack. The app, the Lynx code compared to a native app, and compared to a and compared to like React Native, the YouTube, which is React Native, it took about 3 seconds to load, and the TikTok loaded instantly. And that's what's the advantage of the way that Steele's, and why we brought Steele on to manage all of our tech side. That's just such a great feature to have, especially if you're walking in to make payments and use like a customer loyalty points. It'd be like a Starbucks app where you can preload and then you just go around paying wherever these payment processors are. Yeah, go ahead, Steele. Kind of walk through what you had in mind as far as the pitch goes, and where we're going with it.
I mean, I think it's pretty easy. We have our foot in the door way to get the devices into the stores. I think they're already getting gouged, and we won't really have too much of a difficulty there. And I think the site's pretty straightforward. I mean, we just need to know full on exactly what we need done on the site. If we're taking orders on the site, if we're doing account creation on the site, we need dashboards.
Yeah, the site is just for the email collection to give them further information. That's the call to action. Put your email in, email newsletter, but it sends them initial email, which is which is just simply an email with a PDF, kind of Amazon one pager and an extra couple pages with pictures and graphic. And then, so our SwampPay devices, when we custom manufacture our own using their software, will be a whole nother level. And then, because it matches our custom phone, we did freedomfactory.io with the DGen 1 phone with which is the square phone, looks like a Game Boy, and has the laser pointer. When we launch our Swamp phone, the Ooga Booga XRP phone, it has a cigar lighter and a walkie-talkie type button with a square screen as well. And it's going to be this black background with green text. And you can do same thing you can everywhere else except for no blue light. It'll convert any website to this swamp style that we're going for here. The way we're designing all of our manufactured products is think of like a Vietnam War gear. So that type of metal that's green and some black, and the screen black looking like old computer interface. Similar to what Steele's already drafted up with the site. So we've got a couple of people just joined. I just want to say hi to Lemmy and Greg. And if you all have any questions, I know you all hopped in late, so I didn't know if you had any questions about SwampPay and these payment processors for the stores and our app, and also what we're doing with our own devices for the second phone. All right, if no questions, let's go to Rich. He has Rich Boy 21st from Mobile, Alabama. That's why I'm up here. I'm actually over anyway. I'm here for the next 3 days with him, talking marketing with this. We've had multiple meetings with Mayor Del Mar, Michael, who was just on here, and his tech lead developer for the device and the lead developer for the app. Krishna Patel. He'll join later after Eric comes, talking about the software and the physical device components for the merchants. Rich, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Drew.
All right. I guess kind of don't, reveal all of what we discussed, but talk about, I guess your marketing side. And, once we get these first initial 100 units in your hands, how you're going to bring, kind of the memetics and the culture to the Swamp Pay system. And you can even kind of touch on the design of the A for the logo with the block next to it, and kind of go there.
My twist to the situation is I just know how to, attract a crowd or attract whatever the fan base needs to be for the product. Because I study people habit. Been like that since I was little. Like, it was one of the first languages I understood is what attracts people to come spend money on products. And that's what I'm good at, just marketing, making people pay attention. Whether it be through sound or visual. I'm just a master at that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's a very modest way of saying what you do.
I had to be like the last one to come in because I had to understand what's going on, and then I can understand how to market it. How to take it to the strip club, who I need to call, who's into this, who won't have a problem with it, the type of transactions it is, and everybody's trying to spend a little bit of Bitcoin and get on the blockchain nowadays. So this adventure is going to grow regardless. So we got to get into these different clubs, even strip clubs. They need to stop throwing dollar bills and learn how to throw some crypto. It'll be a new way for rappers. They like to show out, so it'll be a new way for them to show out spending money, crypto.
So Rich and a number of the guys that he's been working with have been playing with the Cast card, KAST.XYZ. And when we roll out our own version of Swamp Pay, it's going to have that same functionality. It'll give you a credit card number for when you go to merchants who don't have this payment processor. You can still Google Pay or Apple Pay to that merchant with your stable coins in the app, or just whatever you what the other tokens we'll use in this app as well. And so that also comes with a physical metal card with a variety of designs, and you can check those out at KAST.XYZ. And the way that Rich has been using that around town and as he travels, like we just used it for a hotel here. The advantage of that is you're pulling people.
Hey,
You're
Drew,
not
can I
changing
get
the
one
way
thing?
they conduct business. You're just giving them better tools and ability to use crypto where they don't know how their phone works. They don't have to know how the payment processing works or the crypto rails underneath it all. It just benefits merchants. It benefits them. It brings cost of goods down, cost of services
Hey,
down.
Drew, can I say a couple of things? Excuse me, Drew.
Yeah. Say as much as you want. I know you're busy too. You're over in the studio.
As far as my history of marketing, because I know a lot of people say they can market, they can do this and that, but they don't have the footprints, the evidence of that they did that before. But just to name a few companies I marketed for that paid me, nothing less than like 50 to 20 grand just to market. Like, just take 2 pictures of me. Just give you an example. You can look up the history to know the facts of it. I marketed for Rockaware. It was just me, Chris Brown, and I think Sierra that year that did the marketing for Rockaware. I marketed for Jordan, Air Jordan, Michael Jordan's brand. I was the first one to open the store up in 2007 for the Michael Jordan brand. Rip the Runway, and I also marketed. I did a deal with MasterCard. I was gonna put out a MyPlash card with my second album. but I never released the second album. But I did close the deal with MasterCard for marketing their My Pass card. So I've marketed for major companies before, and you can look up that history. It's on Wikipedia.
And the ability that we have to white label not only an app for Rich, his own Rich Pay, Rich Boy Pay app, under the Swamp Pay, just kind of, whatever logo and design he wants on top of that layer on top of this, Michael's layer, where they can put an extra few points, basis points of percentage of every credit card transaction that goes through. They we also have the ability, to work. Rich Boy is our head of marketing and president of what we're doing with Swamp and Blockchain of the South. We have the ability then to white label for like So Def in Atlanta with Jermaine Dupri and with Nelly and with Ludacris and even Jay-Z and Beyonce. Once we show this model and Rich Boy, it goes on tour and I'm going to go on tour with them. And we do concerts where the whole thing's done with like tickets, apparel, everything is just with these on the website through the e-commerce platform of Surge, of SwampPay, and with the physical devices at those facilities, at those events. That's a big angle. And then the other big angle through his connections are the nightclubs, the dance clubs and other places to really bring in Swamp Pay as a grassroots kind of underground vibe of from a marketing perspective to make it cool on the streets. Rich and all of his good friends know how to get suburban girls to buy CDs and cassettes and apparel and reputation. And then they have huge, like not to be understated, social media followings that can get more Swamp Pay devices in hands than we could ever dream of or imagine. And then there's a big pregnant pause right there. Hogan, you got a question for Rich before he has to drop?
No. I'm straight. Thank you. I'm excited to work with you, Rich.
Appreciate you, Hogan. I know about your history also. Great job.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I guess for those of you who don't know, Hogan's written a number of financial books and ran a radio show and a podcast for many years. And well respected in the industries up in Nashville. So as our CEO of the whole Swamp ecosystem and Blockchain of the South ecosystem, could be a better person for me to report to as a smart contract developer. And still reports as well as our CTO, our head of technology, and then Rich running the marketing, and also under Hogan who's the CEO, Rich running as the president of what we're putting together here. So it's 2026 is going to be an amazing year, and it's great to build in a bear market and have. We don't care about the price of Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything. We are getting fees. Like you put this in a restaurant that does $2 million a year. You're saving the restaurant money. You're letting a restaurant take some of that credit card processing fee. And we can also then take our cut of the fee, and it's still less than the 3.5. And if it's Amex 5% fee that they're losing for every $100, they're getting 95. So we can still get them a benefit, and it still kick it to Rich in the marketing and at like private events and shows and things like that. We can put that fee like what Michael alluded to, their first big customer that's running a lot of volume to this system. with the physical device and online is a dispensary, and they put a 12% fee on it that they're throwing in back to their marketers and to their company holdings. So they kind of run it to different, you can run it to different wallet. Anything you can think of, you can program in a smart contract, automate it, and just put it in place once and let it roll. And then when we get all of our Swamp Pay devices up and running, it'll just up and move along with Surge's, Michael's, all their other customers. They're willing to do it, and we can leave base chain and take that, all of this transactions, all the credit card transactions, all the stablecoin payment transactions, and move it to Blockchain of the South. And maybe tonight we're launching an NFT collection. It's the same exact way we did with freedomfactory.io, with the DGen1, DGEN number 1, no space, all lowercase. So the Degenerate 1 phone with the one with the laser pointer, the Ethereum operating system. What we did with that is we had an open mint of NFTs. People minted them for, I think it was $550 that we opened up to the public after we built the operating system, the custom system, and we built the device specifications. So essentially, it crowdfunded the manufacturing in Hong Kong and got them shipped out. Now, we did that back in the spring and couldn't ship them until July because of all the delays and the tariffs, and then people had to pay a $72 tariff on top. The way that Michael set this up, tariff is included. It's a 100 bulk order at a time. It just pretty much prints on demand. When they burn it, they get the smart contract that divvies up that particular device's ID number with the NFT. The new NFT. When they burn it, they put in their address, so maybe the business address of who they wanted to go to receive their 1% of their transaction fees. And whoever has that NFT, now that the new NFT has a revenue stream of 1% of all the payments. So if a restaurant uses this device and does $2 million, they get 1% of that, every day instantly, every time that thing swipes. So there's no delay from a credit card swipe to that 1% getting paid to that NFT holder. So it is just an ongoing revenue stream. It makes this NFT collection unique. It allows us to pre-sell and have it distributed, financial backers that are invested in the right businesses, the right people, the right promoter. It gets split 3 ways. It gets split to our dev team, 0.5% to Michael's dev team, and to continue making improvements to the underlying tech of the API and the protocol. It goes 1% to Steele, 1% to the NFT holder, who is essentially the investor of that particular handheld device that will be at the business, that payment processor, and then 1% to Rich, or whoever the promoter is of that group of devices of that order, and that white label, that Steele puts on our custom app that's on the device and on the phone. So the Swamp Pay, or the Rich Boy Pay, or the Nelly Pay, the St. Louis. So that's the direction we're heading with this, and as far as the rollout and funding goes. All right, we have an Amazon one-pager that'll be out, and then we've got the website. We'll go live at swamppay.com or swamppay.io, input, output. So I'll have all the information about it. That's what you can just text your friends. Hey, you ought to get this device for your restaurant. It'll only have the only call to action, as you'll see, is just an email input that signs them up for our newsletter and gets them the PDF with the full specs, details, and everything about the device. And and you know, the kind of the breakdown of how it works, functions, how transparent it is, and how instant it is as far as payments to the restaurant and everybody.
Now we have our device here. It's a dual screen device, employee facing on the main side, customer facing on the other side, where they'll get the QR code to scan with their phone to complete the payment. By default, it shows a clock. We can have it show, color logo, stuff like that if, when the case comes to it. For the employee screen for what we call our touch points, it starts off with employee login, and then you have an admin login down there as well. So that way you can get to reporting, stuff like that, manage team members and stuff like that directly from the device, so you don't have to get to the website. So you'll log in from here, you'll put in your employee PIN, verifies and starts the process. So this is the handheld versus the terminal. The terminal, you'll just see, dial pad, pin pad, what have you, generate QR code, and that'll be that. This is more for like, dispensaries, restaurants, stuff like that, where you can select the item. It puts it down here. You can hit that button. It brings it to your list of items, so you can see what's on your list or your order. Then you can hit create order. It takes a second. I'm working on optimizing it, but you'll see that it generates the QR code, and you see that the QR code came up here on the front. They'll go ahead and scan that. It'll bring them to a receipt on their phone where they'll pay for the 160 plus whatever the fee is, and then it'll either pop up on here saying it's completed, or if they just paid you in cash or what have you, you can mark it as paid in cash. And that's how the process, for the most part, works. Each touch point is is a little bit different for this device. We also do have a couple of other devices, if the case may be, like a kiosk and some display screens. But we can talk about those if the need were to arise for that. That's the general run through of what the device can do. It's also built out to do like barcode scanning and stuff like that here at the bottom for inventory management and stuff like that. We can also get charging docks for these things, which is why you see the little charging thing here. So that way you don't have to plug it in via USB. You can just drop it on the charging dock and walk away, come back the next day, and it'll be fully charged. These things generally last 2 to 3 days. I've even had it last 4 days. So, I mean, it just depends upon how heavy of a user of the device you are. Other than that, I mean, that's the general use. We don't really have a reason for cards or anything like that at the moment, even though it is built out and is working. But because of the, the way that the payment method is with QR code and stuff like that, that's just not really a need.
Oh, so they're essentially doing Google Pay or Apple Pay on their own device when they scan the QR code. That'll do that at Longhorn by Darden.
Yeah, so the QR code, it basically, that's when they'll choose whether or not they want to do crypto, down the say Coinbase or Stripe on ramp, or if they just want to do straight, Apple Pay or Google Pay at that point.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so then Christian was gonna maybe hop on here in a minute and talk about the app. But let's open up the questions with Eric while he's with us. I know he's extremely busy making improvements and changes with some of these open
Christian
orders.
is actually unavailable, so he
Okay.
got tied away with some baby duty. So I mean, I'll
That's
be
fine.
able to answer any questions you guys got to the best of my ability.
Okay, well then go in a little bit more detail into the app that we'll have white labeled and kind of what that looks like from your all's perspective and
okay,
how that
so-
works on the consumer front as well.
So from the platform itself, each platform or container is white labeled, or even each shop down to the shop is white labeled. So if you log in to say, surge.basalthq.com and create your own shop, put your logo, your coloring, every time you log in, you'll see your own branding, your own coloring, everything. It basically deviates away from Basalt Surge. So it basically looks like it's your environment from a shop level. From a partner container level, yes, default theming, everything like that, we can set it up as, Swamp Pay or whatever, the name coloring logos and all that can be for the most part. So where you'll see our logos, your logos will be replaced there. There was a question brought to me earlier about, some custom theming ability. That is something that I've already looked into, and it is some thing that we will be implementing here very shortly. So that way there's a little bit more custom look and feel compared to, just two colors and a logo. So, it'll allow you guys, a little bit more customizability from that point. Since we're trying to, put ourselves in the same realm as Square, right? We're basically trying to say we're the Square of Web3 blockchain. So that's the mentality that we want to have. So, it was brought to our attention, hey, we want to have a little bit more customizability. I already have that in the queue to have done. Now, in regards to the app, the rest of the platform and theming and stuff like that, I mean, it's all, pretty straightforward, like I said. And then on the devices itself, instead of having, our logo or, the partner's logo, it has the shop's logo here. So when you do set up merchants with these devices, if they don't have their own logo, that's fine. They'll have the SwampPay logo or whatever you guys, are calling it. And then if they do have a logo, like you'll see here on mine, well, you probably can't see it because it's a little dark, but I have, oh, it's reloading. I have Thor's hammer for my shop logo because of the other company that I run. It's an MSP, and so you can actually see it now. So you'll see the logo right there instead of our Basalt Surge logo. So yeah, if you guys have any other questions about theming or the platform or anything like that, I can definitely take care.
Oh, Eric, thank you so much. This is Chris Hogan. Appreciate you taking the time to detail that. And you hit on something, and I just wanted you to expand on that if you would. How easy is it to get a merchant set up on this system?
A merchant set up, I mean, if you have it, open to the public like Surge is, 5 minutes, maybe less,
Wow.
as long as they have all their coloring and logos ready to go.
Okay.
From, a partner perspective, there's a couple of, ways that you can do it, like, whether it be public or we can have a locked down style of container where, they have to apply, basically put in all their information, their QIB, whether they're sole proprietor, so on and so forth, and then basically you can go into the back end and approve and set their split. So you
Ah,
can even set the split differently for each merchant at that point on the approved style container.
gotcha. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hey, Eric, love what you're doing, first of all. Second of all, how would like receipts be handled?
So there's a couple of different ways that receipts can be handled. Most of them are emailed once payment's completed. But if you want to print it off of the device, I actually have an example here. It gives you the QR code and then any information that was on the receipt with the pricing. And it tells you who the operator was. So it shows me the company name, date, receipt ID, and then the items, and then the sale price down here. And since this was just terminal, it's only going to show you the sales price.
Gotcha. So it would be an attachment that's a printer.
Yeah. So these devices have printers inside of them right here. That's
Gotcha.
where the paper goes.
Gotcha.
So I mean that's just one method. I mean otherwise like I said, the receipt would be emailed to the end user.
Understood. It will be interesting to see how like in regards to, like, let's say if I'm selling different items, I mean, one way that I would potentially approach it, if I were to approach it, is in the past I was attempting to make I mean, basically NFTs, but physical NFTs, and like whether you're selling paintings or it could be any product. But then
Yeah, each merchant, each one of these payment processors put on their all their items or change it around, can do services, like landscapers can use this.
Mm.
Anybody can use this.
Gotcha.
And we've also even built out automated subscriptions as well. We're still fine tuning it a little bit.
Already
Yeah.
in there?
Yep, I was actually the one who implemented that myself. So
Nice.
we have automated subscriptions. So basically, it's a one-time approval. Same type of thing when you do this. It's basically a split contract, so to speak. But basically, the customer will do the one-time approval, and then each time it goes to charge, they just need to make sure that they have the money in their wallet.
That's awesome. So then that's what we touched on earlier. The app for the consumer is like the Starbucks app where you can prepay money and points in the wallet of that app.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't have a customer-facing app per se yet. I mean, we do have a progressive web app that you can, install from the website that basically turns into an app. But we don't have an actual Android or Apple app yet for the customer side. It's just mainly for the device itself. Because
but it's straightforward with your SDK, and Still and I've already been wireframing exactly what we want for our Swamp Pay type consumers, the people that Rich Boy's going to onboard on the consumer side to work with the merchant.
Okay.
Cool stuff.
Yeah. Eric, I know you're a busy man, especially right now. Is everything? How many of these have you already shipped out? How many have been ordered? And then when we do our 100 order, talk I guess about the time frame from Hong Kong to California. You quality assure them in California before you ship them to where we are in Florida or Alabama or the different locations as well.
Yeah, so right now we've gotten a pretty not, I wouldn't say a small order, but we got a small order for 10 initially. We have another order on the way that's for another 50 for one of our other clients. That's actually an ISO, basically doing like gas stations and stuff like that. So he's starting out with 50 and he has about 4,000 merchants. So the hardware play is just ramping up for us at this point. It's relatively new. We just got them within the last month. So
yeah, and that's what's so fun about being on the cutting edge, and you're moving so fast on the development side. Like, I mean, Google UCP just came out, and integrating that into it, where like a restaurant can have like a DoorDash type thing, Uber, and have they can talk to their AI agent or GPT Gemini 3, and they can place an order through this device, through this payment processor, fully autonomous by getting the order from UCP of the items that are there, that kind of that SEO from an agent standpoint of what's available, make the purchase with crypto and have it delivered all seamlessly, where the consumer can just be talking in the AI app, third party LLM or their own custom, and it all happens, and they don't even know it happened on the blockchain payment rails from Surge and SwampPay, which is kind of really cool for where that's headed as far as our plan and what we're doing on our other AI front, kind of asynchronously, simultaneously.
So timeline on the devices, once we receive payment on the devices and we submit the order, it's about 12 to 14 days to get them built and shipped to here in California. That's when I'll QC them, and then from there, it would only be a day, and then I ship them back, ship them out to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I talked earlier about the kind of issues we had with the DGen 1 phone that we manufactured, and just kind of payments that it's nice to have that all underway. The other question is, the conversation we had yesterday, day before, I'm losing track of days. Things are moving so fast. The ID for base chain, and once we launch our blockchain of South and stress test it, the ability to then move all the SwampPay devices and even your old Surge at large, potentially all of those devices and all the smart contracts over from base, redeploying the same smart contracts, kind of an upgraded version on blockchain of the South, and moving it over. The speed and quickness that can be accomplished, essentially what you had said was you're just changing the ID of base chain as a layer 2 to the OP stack ID number for blockchain of the South.
Yeah, so I mean, as long as the chain ID is, relevant or compatible with the third party that we basically go through for all the infrastructure stuff, then it shouldn't be a problem. So I mean, who we go through is third
we're using like base chain's only a stage 2 decentralization. We'll launch with the OP stack, their same code, not their exact, but the optimistic code base. For an optimistic roll up, we'll launch at a stage 2 decentralization and quickly be the first with optimism to get to stage 3 and probably even beat out Unichain on that. And Coinbase, the Fed chain, will never be above a stage 2 level decentralization with their OP stack. And I prefer OP stacks over, because of the super chain infrastructure with mainnet over ZK roll up chains.
The belief that Coinbase has like jumped ship from Optimism, and I believe that's reflected in the Optimism price. Optimism price. I do know that Optimism has the big thing is a super chain where you could pass around more easily like tokens around different chains, different L2s and such. I don't know if Coinbase is going more along with the Arbitrum model.
They're not there. They had already, when they first launched their OP stack, edited the code, that open source code for the backdoor, for blacklisting wallets, for their centralization that they needed for Wall Street, to be the Fed chain that they are. And they will always be super chain ERC20 compatible. So they, taking tokens cross chain is no big deal. They'll all have the same contract ID. The contract address, ADDI will be the same on every super chain compatible. And even some of ZK is the only one that has issues with the super chain. But like you're saying, Arbitrum is getting super chain compatible with tokens pretty quick.
Nice.
So yeah, Coinbase is where it needs to be right now because it's all done in USDC and it's auditable. It's all for the merchant. It has to be all done above board with tax purposes. And as Eric and Michael and Krishna and their whole team are closing Fortune 500 deals and huge corporations that are publicly traded, the only blockchain they're going to trust, they won't even trust mainnet. They want to be on the Fed chain of base chain from Coinbase. So, yeah. But Eric, anything else you want to add as a closing thought before you got bounce?
No, nothing I can think of, honestly.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Steele, any last questions, or Chris, and then we'll shut down the recording.
No, I think, just again, appreciate you, Eric, for, both times. You've been great. Answered everything I could possibly think of. I mean, it seems pretty, pretty cut out for us again. I think we're going to have a pretty easy onboarding here.
Sweet.
Same. Thank you so much for taking the time to kind of walk through it. We are looking forward to it.
No problem. Anytime.
All right. Well, I appreciate all of y'all tuning in. And for those of you watching this recording later, thank you as well. This full video will be on YouTube and available on, along with kind of the highlight bullet points on our swampay.io website that Steele's finalizing today. And then the NFT launch to go ahead and order your own device will begin right away. The art's already done. The smart contract's already done. It's the same one that Yeah, that was for freedomfactory.io. So I'll see y'all on the other side of the swamp.